Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to GB News. My name is Tom Harwood and I am on your side because I'm on GB News. People should be really afraid of migrants. It's so shocking how many are coming in that you should get a globalist ID card. Thanks a lot.
Well, we're going to stick with our subject of crime for the moment because a record for the number of Channel migrants crossing in a single day this year has been smashed.
Oh no! Thank God that we've got Tom Harwood on the case. A hard-nosed, gumshoe detective of a mainstream media journalist. Whatever the nation needs to do to survive, you better bet your bottom dollar that Tom Harwood will get to the bottom of it. He won't leave one stone unturned to do exactly what the globalists tell him to do and say. And if that doesn't work, then he'll just ask his employers what else he needs to say and do to advance a globalist agenda. Welcome to the briefing.
As more than 1,000 were detected on small boats yesterday.
Wait until you see the evidence. Just wait until you see the evidence. It's actually hilarious what GB News is trying to palm off as some kind of like, oh, we caught them in the act, right? Just wait until you see it. But just to catch you up on what you're watching here. So Tom Harwood does this briefing program where he sits there and he acts like he's just having these thoughts, but he's clearly reading a script. Anyway, for the first 80% of the program, it's just all this crime is terrible, this crime everywhere. Oh, it's shocking how much crime there is. Like the government aren't involved in it and like the police aren't not doing anything about it. And, you know, society is just being flushed down the toilet on purpose. You know, they want you to be afraid. They want you to think there's crime everywhere. They want you to think there's migrants coming in all the time, which of course there are, and they're not stopping these people coming over there, but they want you to be absolutely petrified of this problem. So for the first 80% of the program, Harwood has been just trying to shit up all everyone who's watching that there's just this unassailable thing of crime. And then he switches to, and yesterday there was a lot of migrants coming over in boats. And he acts like, and we've caught them. GB News has also come into some information that there's migrants and we're hot on the tail of it, right? And then they use this, all the fear they create in the first 60% of the program, pretending like they're on your side, like, we're getting to the bottom of the migrants, because that's something that right-wing people disagree with. Unchecked illegal immigration, and we're getting to the bottom of it. And then in the last bit of the program, they hit you with, and now let's instigate a digital government ID. You know, it's like, create the problem, manage the solution. You know, what they want is for you to all be locked down in the digital ID mark of the beast system. And what they're going to do is allow migrants to come in on these boats and get really good shots of it and just shit everyone up and try and get everyone on the same page that we need to be, you know, barcode stamped like the sheep that we are. Anyway, let's have a look.
And Mark White, our Home and Security Editor, is here with me now. Mark, 1,000 in a single day. What's going on?
Well, it's more than that now. We've just had the official figures from the Ministry of Defence. We were seeing that more than 1,000 yesterday here in GB News. Those official figures have come out and they show that 1,295, so almost 1,300 people have crossed in 27 small boats across the whole of yesterday.
Do you honestly think that this is not a manufactured problem? You think that these people are coming over in little rubber dinghies and we can't stop them? You know, they're being deliberately shipped over here. And not only are they being deliberately shipped over here, but now the controlled, GB News, completely controlled mainstream media, they're now using the images of it to scare you into doing what they want. They've created this problem, and now they're getting their lackeys in the mainstream media news, and that is exactly what Tom Harwood is. Tom Harwood is an establishment lackey. People that think that GB News is some kind of white knight savior news station, it's like, dude, they employ Tom Harwood. This guy will completely deny the fact that biological men and women exist if the establishment tell him to. He'll do absolutely anything. There isn't one shred of sort of genuine authenticity in Tom Harwood. He's like the anchorman. Whatever they say on the news ticker, he just reads it out.
Now that absolutely smashes a previous record for this year, which was 696 who.
Look, let me ask you a question while this guy's talking. I'll talk over him. He's just basically saying, oh, you should be so afraid. There's loads of them. Here they come. Oh, no, look out. Right? Check out the video of these guys. And you let me know. Do you think these guys look like they're sneaking in? They look like they're on some sort of tour. And why are they all wearing masks? You mean to tell me that they're bothered about the coronavirus, are they, these people? Even though they're in the open air. No, they're just covering up their identity so you can't see the fact that they're all military-aged men. But at this point, they're just getting great shots of them. They all look like they're from Somalia, so you're extra afraid. And I'm not saying this isn't going on, but look, they're deliberately parading them in front of you, and they're letting you know that, like, look, these people are just being shipped in on purpose.
Trying to get to the UK.
1,295 is the most extraordinary number. You've been down in Dover. You've also been across on the French coastline. Why is it now that we're seeing so many more, almost double the previous high in a day? It's not like the weather's been particularly much better now. What's changed?
This guy swears the most wooden. It's almost like it doubled. What's changed? Like, he's the most wooden guy. You can tell, like, the teleprompter says, like, in Tom's script, it obviously says, like, Tom is just absolutely shocked in his voice, Oh my gosh, it's absolutely double. What's changed? Like, this is a serious news problem. It's trying to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, come on.
Well, over the weekend, actually, we did have a couple of days where the weather conditions just weren't suitable for small boats to cross. When that happens, effectively, they almost stack up.
I have a question. Where do these people that are apparently like asylum seekers from Somalia, so apparently they've walked here from like Somalia or Syria, and then what, they brought a dinghy with them? Or you mean to tell me that they were just all sitting there on the coast of France with some sort of small boat that they got their hands on, and they're waiting to come across? And then they always arrive on like a giant like government boat with all like masks on and just sort of slowly plodding on. Like, nothing about this is authentic at all.
On the other side of the channel. So come Sunday evening, when conditions started to clear and it was flat calm in the channel again, we were expecting big numbers, but nothing on this scale. And in the months ahead, we're only likely to see those numbers increase very significantly, much further, because it was actually the back end, the last few months of last year, where...
Yes. Boats, yeah, they travel better in weather, boats. Yes, I'm Tom Harwood. This is The Briefing, and as the host, I can confirm that it's easier to sail a boat when the weather's better. Are the public buying this?
We saw the biggest numbers, and we're probably going to repeat that again this year, as I say, with these numbers stacking up.
You know what makes me laugh about BG News, which is Bill Gates News? The whole thing's funded by Bill and Melinda Gates, by the way, through a hedge fund. Unity News came out with that, and then a bunch of the fake GB News presenters were like, oh, this doesn't mean anything, what a load of bollocks, and didn't address the issue at all. Anyway, that's another side issue. But I love the way that Harwood spreads out all the mainstream media newspapers in front of him in this sort of, this fan circle of bullshit. Like, we all know that the newspapers and the mainstream media news are just like bog paper when it comes to like telling the truth and not just pushing the establishment narrative. But you can see GB News agenda, the way they spread out all the papers, and it's all kind of like, listen, we got our finger right on the pulse because we're looking at all the papers. All the newspapers here at GB News, we're getting them all, and we got them fanned out in a crescent moon shape in front of Tom Harwood. So you know this program's getting right to the truth because we've got Tom Harwood and the newspapers. So you know the truth's being found on this channel. Check it out.
And just finally, interestingly, you've been saying that there are also these crossings going on in lorries, something that a lot of people thought had sort of gone down to basically nothing as all of the migrants switched across to boats. But lorries are happening too.
Amazing, isn't it? The acting skills are so good. This is the bit where GB News reinforces to you that they're on your side, and they're like this super sleuth news organization that's combating migrant crossings, because Tom Harwood, and he's broken this, Tom Harwood, gumshoe detective that he is, has broken that. Listen, it's not just boats. Lorries are happening too, right? Amazing.
Yeah, quite understandably, people are very focused on small boats and that particular crisis, because it is a very visible manifestation of illegal incursions into UK waters.
Just for 1 second, just allow your mind to really sort of analyze what you're being shown here. You're being shown a black guy in a big coat walking slowly from behind a lorry with like a theater spotlight on him. And GB News are asking you to believe that this is some kind of authentic footage of a migrant sneaking into the country. So let me get this. Well, this guy is just like exit, stage right, stage left even. Like the Pink Panther dude. And he's just sort of slowly plodding along in the spotlight like one of the Looney Tunes, right? He's not like trying to run away or anything. He's just slowly plodding out in the spotlight like he's on some kind of all-star variety show. And they're asking you to believe that this is real?
However, what has never gone away is what the Home Office refer to as clandestines, those who try to sneak into the back of lorry trailers or onto other vehicles to make it across the channel, either by ferry or...
Is this not the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen in your life? You're asking me to believe that this guy has been caught in a theatre-style spotlight and he just slowly comes into a truck and just squeezes himself in there like, I don't think they got me. And he just waits there? Why are they allowing you to film them with a giant spotlight stowing away? This is the fakest shit I've ever seen in my life. People don't sneak into a truck in the midst of a giant spotlight and act like they've not been caught. Good.
Interestingly, it's easier to count, I suppose, a boat that you can see rather than a lorry that's enclosed.
That's why they pay Tom Harwood the big bucks, man. Nothing gets past this guy. Interestingly, I guess it's easier to count a number of people that are on a boat that you can see than if they're in the back of a lorry that you can't see. The guy has to be like, yeah, that's amazing analysis. Thanks, Tom.
Well, for now, Mark White, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Let's continue this discussion now with the former Shadow Home Secretary. Anne Widdecombe is here with us.
And Anne comes on now, just beautifully emphasizes my point of the way GB News operates. It's like, scare the crap out of people with just ridiculous footage about migrants, go on about crime, and then Anne comes in with a solution. And guess what it is? You're never going to believe what the solution is, but it's exactly what the globalists and the establishment want. It's almost like Tom Harwood is saying and doing exactly what they tell him to say.
What should we do? I think there are two things we should do. We should introduce national identity cards. Now, that doesn't please my libertarian soul, but the fact is that we're in an emergency, and you're quite right, they go into the illegal economy, and the only way we're going to know who we've got working where, paying or skiving taxes, is if we actually have national identity cards which have to be produced. And the second thing that we need to do is to house all new asylum seekers in secure accommodations.
There you have it, guys. Don't worry about globalism or the establishment doing what they want, because we've got GB News and Tom Harwood featuring Anne Widdecombe. All we need to do is introduce globalist national ID and then get a bunch of undocumented illegal immigrants and put them into a secure military barracks or something of that nature. All we need to do to make sure the country's fine is to give all the citizens a globalist nationalist ID and import an invading army and put them in a military barracks. That's all we need to do. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. GB News is going to save you. GB News is going to save you. Sure, keep supporting GB News. Keep watching GB News, because GB News, which is the alternative news platform on Sky News Channel 437, featuring Nigel Farage, Tom Harwood, Ann Diamond, and everyone else. Everyone that used to work on TV now works on GB News, but it's not a TV channel. It's an alternative, small media company funded by Bill and Melinda Gates. Come on, guys. Come on. GB News is not going to save you. I've said this from day one. I don't trust GB News. I'm not saying everyone on GB News is a globalist, but I'm telling you that this is not a small operation that's funded by a couple of guys that clubbed together and launched a media channel, okay? It's an establishment channel. It's got establishment agendas. They let people on there to tell you the truth, and I've no doubt there's a few good presenters on there. I'm not saying there's not good presenters on there, but there are some horrendous presenters on there, and Tom Harwood is the worst. Let me tell you something. Tom Harwood is only getting employed by an establishment organization. There's nowhere else he can go. He's one of these guys that's just like, I will say whatever the establishment tell me to say. So the fact that he's on GB News, it tells you everything you need to know. And you can see the way they work it. Create the problem, scare people with the media, come in with the solution, which is exactly what the establishment want. This is mainstream media 101, and that's who GB News is, in my opinion. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Hit the link in subscription and keep this channel going, please. We need your financial support. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. That's the end of the video again. The video's ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ending now.